What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. I'm outside Villa Park. Spurs have laid down the gauntlet in the top four race. A 4-0 drubbing here at Villa Park, and I think very few Spurs fans expected such a dominant scoreline. I mean, if I would have told you in the first half the Spurs would end up winning this game 4-0, I think a lot of you would have been surprised, because Villa came with a plan. Unai Emery sub in a very unconventional 3-5-2 formation, not a formation that they've been using a lot this season. He came with a tactical plan, and it looked like it was paying off for them in that first half. They were playing quite a clever counter-attacking approach. They were sitting deep. Watkins and Leon Bailey were pretty much 2v2 versus Romero and Van de Ven that whole of the first half, and they were causing us problems, albeit I don't think they had a shot on target. We didn't have a shot on target in the first half as well. We were definitely struggling to play through them. They were playing a very clever defensive game, and it was very, very difficult to kind of counteract what Aston Villa were trying to do in that first half. And they were definitely had the upper hand, but I would say they had the upper hand, but they didn't make use of their advantage, and they were sitting deep. Unai Emery's side are known for, being quite aggressive, being on the front foot, being very intense in their pressing. We didn't see any of that in the first half, and maybe that was a clear plan from Unai Emery to kind of contain us. And it did seem to be working, but I don't know what Ange said to the team in the half time. It does seem to be a bit of a pattern with Ange, and second half team talks a big improvement in the second half, and that's exactly what we saw in this game yet again. An incredible second half performance from Tottenham, and it kind of for me it was almost like when Tottenham upped their game, and when Tottenham were kind of starting to play their football, get it on the ground, play through Aston Villa, they had no answer to it. I think that's fair to say. And it's another pattern I want to point out with Tottenham is, when we get one goal, another one follows it very, very quickly. You think back to the Brentford game, you think back to the game just been against Crystal Palace. It's happened so often now, it's becoming definitely a recognisable pattern for me that Tottenham do tend to hit teams with quick goals in succession. And the opening goal was an incredible move from Spurs. Kulusevski plays the ball down the line to Patmatsar, who puts in one of the crosses of the season. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the highlights now, because it's right on a plate for James Maddison to just volley it home inside the penalty area. Not the kind of goal you associate with James Maddison, running late into the box and getting on the end of a cross, but a brilliant goal from Spurs, and that put us 1-0 up. And obviously to the light of everyone in the away end, everyone's going absolutely crazy. But yeah, big props to Sarr, who I thought was absolutely incredible in that second half. What a performance, and he's getting a lot of love from the fans, and deservedly so. Second goal comes again very quickly after the first. Great interchange between Maddison and Son. He plays in Brennan Johnson, and it's a brilliant finish. And I thought actually Brennan Johnson was probably our best attacker throughout a lot of the game, to be honest. I didn't think in the first half he was brilliant, but I thought he was probably our most threatening attacker. That's to say the least, because Spurs didn't really offer much, but he was probably the one looking to make things happen. He was getting on the ball, looking bright, and then obviously he finishes the goal absolutely brilliantly, right into the roof of the net, showing his confidence. And now I think it's his fifth goal now for Tottenham, fourth or fifth goal. Brilliant finish, and probably his best performance in a Spurs shirt, I have to say, for Brennan Johnson. I thought he was really lively throughout the game. I was really, really delighted with his performance. And then obviously a big moment, a big flashpoint in the game. John McGinn takes a big old swipe at Destiny Udogie. It's maybe one of those challenges that was clearly cynical. It was clearly reckless from John McGinn. No intention of getting the ball. But on another day, a referee might have just given him a yellow card because I guess you could argue, how dangerous is it? But it was, look, at the end of the day, he takes a big swipe at him. He's got no intention of getting the ball. He just kicks the doggy after he gets past him. And I think referees should be punishing that more harshly, more often. So I was really glad the referee didn't let him off it, and obviously sent him off. And I thought there was a definite sending off for, I don't think he can have any complaints. He takes a swipe off Destiny Udogie, and I thought it was a really, really bad challenge, and a really dirty challenge by John McGinn. And there was quite a funny moment just after that challenge, where obviously the Spurs fans were very irate with that challenge, and obviously the Villa fans kind of like, seeing it as a sign of intent, they want to force their way back in the game, they start singing John McGinn's name, and as soon as they start singing his name, then the referee brandishes a red card. So they left with a bit of egg on their face, I think, the Villa fans, after that incident. But brilliant for Spurs. Obviously, once the Villa went down to 10 men, it was game over. Spurs controlled the game really, really well. The only thing I would say is, obviously, we scored 2 goals, I think, quite late on, but we were very wasteful when Villa went down to 10 men. We had a lot of opportunities to really kill them off and put them to bed, and we got a bit complacent with our finishing, I felt, at times. But obviously we did get the 3rd and 4th goal late on. Heung-min Son heavily involved again, obviously brilliant goal, brilliant first time finish for the 4th. Great first time finish after a cutback from Kulusevski. And then Timo Werner comes off the bench and adds a 4th after more great work from Heung-min Son, who was getting all sorts of joy once Aston Villa went down to 10 men. He was struggling to get in the game, especially the first half when Villa played their back 3, but they changed it to a back 4. Then they went down to 10 men, and Son was finding all sorts of space and causing all sorts of havoc at that point. It was really hard to stop him, and he made them pay with a goal and assist. And at the end of the day, another great display from Sonny, who got on the day a goal and 2 assists. So absolutely fantastic. Aston Villa, I have to say, I was very disappointed with them. I really expected them to give us more of a game, to be honest. I thought they came into this game with a sense of fear. You can cast your mind back to that Man City game, how they were so fearless, so intense in their pressing, really went at Man City, didn't give them a second to breathe. And I felt like they came into this game, maybe Emre's pragmatic side getting the best of him in this game. I have to say, they looked like they came into this game with a sense of fear, looking to try and stop Spurs rather than playing their own game, and maybe they suffered for that. So if I'm a Villa fan, I'll be a bit disappointed in that they didn't really take the game to us, and I think that's probably what cost them at the end of the day. They didn't really pressure us anywhere near enough, and that will be very, very disappointing. In terms of individuals for Tottenham, I want to pick, obviously I mentioned Brendan Johnson. I thought he was fantastic. Probably his best game in the Spurs shirt. I think it was Maddison's best game since returning from injury. Albeit I've been saying I don't think he's been that bad since returning from injury. I actually think he's been pretty good, but I think this was probably his best display, especially in the second half. There's a double-edged sword with not double-edged sword, but there's kind of 2 sides to the coin with the next one I'm going to say, because obviously Van der Ven was having a brilliant game. I thought in that first half, if it wasn't for some of his covering, we could have been easily 1 or 2 down in that first half. But he was having a brilliant game, and then he went off injured on 55 minutes. Obviously, a lot of Tottenham fans getting very worried, but I have to say, Radu Dragusin, it was the first time we got a proper look at him. Obviously, first time he's had more than 5 minutes, and I thought he was brilliant. I thought he came on, looked so assured, looked really, really confident, and he seemed to really settle in alongside Romero really well. He looked confident on the ball, was not scared to play a forward pass, and he played a lot of passes with quality as well. I was very, very impressed, and I thought he dealt with a lot of things that came his way. I thought Watkins was trying to run in behind him and wasn't able to get any joy out of Dragusin. So big up to him. Great first real, obviously it's not his debut, but his first real outing we've seen from him, and absolutely brilliant from him. So I want to just give him his props, because I was very, very impressed with his performance in a difficult situation. I think at the time, I think we were 2-0 up already, but still, we know that Villa are going to come at us, and it's a very important game. So he came into that situation and did admirably well. Big up to Radu. I thought Romero, first half, a couple of moments on the ball was shaky, but other than that, I thought his defensive display was near faultless. I thought he was absolutely sensational. I thought Ollie Watkins really struggled against him. There was a lot of times Watkins was one-on-one with him, looking to get a shot on goal, and Romero just dealt with it, and I thought he was absolutely imperious, apart from some shaky moments in that first half where, could have cost us on another day. But I thought off the ball, simply sensational. I thought Udogi, they couldn't live with him. It forced McGinn, swiping that challenge and getting himself sent off, because every time he got the ball, he was just driving forward with it, and it was getting, I think it was frustrating the Villa players, because his power, his strength was so difficult for them to deal with. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. But man of the match, so difficult, so many good performances. Pat Matar definitely deserves a shout. I thought Pat Matar was absolutely fantastic before he went off injured, and not injured, he went off. in the second half. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. The Spurs fans were showing him a lot of love in the away end. I think everyone recognised what a top performance he was putting in. And I just think at the end of the day, look, everyone played well. But I think the most important thing is it was a real statement victory in this top 4 race. With 11 games to go, we're now 2 points behind Villa with a game in hand. And after that victory, and after the manner of that victory as well, that really maybe could strike a psychological blow to Aston Villa, I'm feeling, because going into this game, they were very confident. They've got a very difficult run of games now coming up for them. And they needed to probably not lose this game to kind of keep that buffer from Spurs going into that difficult run. And the fact that they've not only lost, they've absolutely got battered, has got to be very, very disappointing for Aston Villa. So I'm absolutely delighted, I'm absolutely buzzing after that massive victory. I can't wait to talk about it in the studio in depth tomorrow. It was a real statement victory from Tottenham away at Villa Park, and what was a massive game. And I think Ange needs a lot of props today, because people have been complaining about our form, people have been complaining about a few things, and today was a massive game. We needed to show what we're all about. We needed to get back to those levels that we were showing at the beginning of the season. And that first half, people would have argued that it didn't look likely, but we stuck to the game plan. We kind of made sure we rid the storm in that first half, made sure Aston Villa didn't get any joy out of us. And in that second half we stepped up, and we were near perfection in that second half. We were absolutely sensational, and that was a real display of what we're capable of in big games like this. And so I'm absolutely delighted that away from home against a rival, that we really took the game to them. We played fearless football that we play every week. We weren't paralysed by fear like maybe Aston Villa were in this game, and we ended up victorious. And Villa set up to kind of counter-attack on us, sit deep and play a smart game, and it looked like it was working that first half, but they just couldn't live with us when we stepped it up. And I think that's the lesson we have to take away from this game. When we're on our form, when we play our football, we're very, very difficult to stop, and I think Aston Villa found that out today. So absolutely fantastic victory. Absolutely delighted with the performance and the result. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts on the game. See you in the studio tomorrow. Very much looking forward to it. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.